The laugh hits like a broom handle on a trash can, bright and hollow. It rolls across the backyard of Holler and Hound, bounces off the fence, and comes back with teeth. Phones tilt, glasses clink. Somebody says wow under their breath like they found $1 on the sidewalk. It is the kind of sound that splits a night open, makes everyone in it feel like they are in on something sharp and shiny. The fairy lights strung between the trees tremble with the echo, the soft bulbs shivering in the late summer air. Music hums from a Bluetooth speaker on the bar, something with a bass line that tries to sound casual but keeps tripping over itself. The smell of grilled meat, spilled beer, and citronella candles hovers like a tired halo over the crowd. I lean in to kiss my wife. She turns her cheek like a door closing. The movement is small but complete, a hinge that has known this motion before. The air between us is suddenly all elbows and distance. I can feel the heat of her skin without touching it, a ghost warmth that makes me colder than the breeze ever could. I would rather kiss my dog than you, she says, loud, for the crowd. A few heads turn, the kind of heads that love a scene. Her voice carries clear and crisp, like it has been practiced. Maybe it has. She knows how to project. She works in PR. Words are her weapons, and she polishes them every day until they gleam. I smile. I breathe once through my nose. I do that when I am about to say something I will not be able to pull back. The breath tastes like hops and regret. My jaw tightens around the edges of the sentence forming in my throat, but it wants out. It's been waiting for weeks, pacing behind my teeth like a trapped animal. That tracks, I say. He is the only one you are not lying to. Silence, the kind you can hear. It folds over the patio like a tarp pulled tight. The bartender stops polishing a pint glass mid-circle. A girl with a nose ring laughs and then slaps a hand over her mouth like she coughed in church. The sound dies quick, embarrassed by its own existence. The Bluetooth speaker hiccups on a beat and falls quiet. Even the crickets hesitate. Lena's eyes flicker. Shock, then anger, then something darker that she hides behind a half-smile. The crowd shifts, uncertain which of us is supposed to be the villain. They are waiting for someone to say it was a joke, for the tension to dissolve into laughter. It does not. My wife is Lena. My name is Evan Hale. I am a systems tech at a logistics company that ships dull things the world needs and forgets to notice. Pallets of screws, coils of copper wire, sealed boxes labeled only by barcodes that tell machines where they belong. My job is to stop servers from panicking and to make printers forgive people. I am the guy you thank with a thumbs up in the hallway and forget the second you turn the corner. I can be invisible. That night, I choose not to be. Across the patio, a tall guy in a CityWorks jacket flinches. Not much. Just enough to tell on himself. His name is Brandon Cade. People call him Bran. I do not call him anything yet. He works maintenance for the same building my company leases the top floor of. I have seen him in the elevator a few times, carrying tools, always smiling like someone who doesn't know the word consequence. He has the kind of tan that only exists on people who spend more time outdoors than they should when they are supposed to be at work. I have seen that tan in photos, too, on Lena's phone once, when she thought she had locked the screen. Our dog barks once and then licks his nose like he just interviewed a sandwich. His name is Moby. Half shepherd, half mystery. He looks between us with the uneasy loyalty of someone who wants to pick a side but doesn't know the rules of the game. His ears tilt at the word dog. His tail swishes once, cautious, testing the air for approval. "Grow up, Evan," Lena says. She smiles hard. It is the smile she puts on for camera crews and office team photos. It is a cover, not a feeling. She tilts her glass, pretending to sip, pretending the moment has already passed. Her lipstick leaves a perfect half-moon on the rim, bright as a wound. I put my hands in my pockets. My fingers find a folded boarding receipt from a dog service we did not need last week. The timestamp is burned into my head. I kept it like a man keeps a lucky coin, except it does not bring luck. It just keeps my memory honest. The paper is soft from being unfolded and folded again too many times. I can still see the name printed on it. Her name, not mine. The drop-off time, the pickup, the window when she was supposed to be at a client lunch. I don't even need to look anymore. I can recite it like a prayer. Okay, I say. I just did. The words land between us, heavy and still. Somewhere a phone camera clicks. The moment has become content. A few people look away, embarrassed, as if eye contact might make them part of the story. Bran shifts his weight, runs a hand over his jaw, and stares at the ground. Lena doesn't move. Her smile is frozen, her knuckles white on the stem of her wine glass. She looks like a photograph trying to stay alive. Later, after the crowd has found something else to orbit, I walk to the edge of the patio. The night smells like wet grass and grilled chicken. The lights from the street smear on the puddles by the curb. I can see our reflection in one of them. Her leaning against the bar, me standing alone. Two halves of a life that forgot how to connect. When we get home, the silence follows us like a polite guest that refuses to leave. Moby trots ahead, nails clicking on the tile. Lena tosses her purse onto the couch, kicks off her heels, and disappears into the bedroom. I stand in the kitchen, staring at the half-empty bowl of dog food on the floor. The fridge hums. The clock on the wall ticks loud enough to sound smug. I should go after her, say something that will make the edges of this night softer. But the truth is, I am tired of patching holes in a boat that both of us are drilling into. I pour myself a drink instead. Whiskey, no ice. The burn feels honest. When she comes back, she has changed into one of my shirts. It hangs loose on her frame, soft and disarming. She leans on the doorframe, arms crossed. "You made a scene," she says. "You started it," I say, and it sounds childish even to me. She sighs. "Do you always have to be so dramatic?" I laugh, a dry sound. "I'm not the one performing for a crowd." Her eyes flash. "You think you're so clever. You think you can hurt me with a sentence." "No," I say. "I think you already hurt yourself." The silence after that one is different. It is older, heavier. It remembers things. It sits between us like an uninvited witness. She turns away. "You never listen." "I listen," I say. "You just stopped saying anything worth hearing." Her shoulders stiffen. She walks out, the bedroom door closing with a soft but decisive click. The kind of sound that ends something. I stay up for hours. The house feels like a stranger's. Every object around me has a story attached to it, but the stories feel borrowed. The framed photo from our wedding, her hand on my chest, both of us laughing. The souvenir mug from a trip to Colorado we never talk about anymore. The print of a dog park schedule pinned to the fridge. Moby curls up at my feet, sighing in his sleep like he knows too much. When the clock hits midnight, I pull out my phone and scroll through old messages. Little things. Jokes, grocery lists, reminders. The tone shift is visible like watching the tide go out. The last text she sent me that sounded like love is from 8 months ago. After that, everything became logistics. The next morning, she leaves early. No goodbye. Just the sound of her car pulling out of the driveway. The dog watches from the window, tail wagging at the empty space she leaves behind. I make coffee, drink it too fast, and stare at the receipt again. The ink has started to fade, but the numbers still sting. Work is the same blur of screens and server alerts. My boss nods at me in the hallway. Someone from accounting brings donuts. People laugh at things that aren't funny. I pretend because pretending is easier than explaining. Invisibility has its perks. But when I get home that night, there's another receipt waiting on the counter. Same dog service, same time slot, different week. She didn't even bother hiding it this time. Maybe she wants me to find it. Maybe she's tired too. I take Moby for a walk instead of thinking about it. The sky is turning purple, and the air smells like rain. The leash tugs lightly in my hand. He stops at every corner, sniffing like he's reading invisible messages. I envy him. His world is simple: scent, motion, hunger, comfort. Mine is a maze of almost truths and broken promises. When we pass the coffee shop near the end of the block, I see Bran through the window. He's laughing at something on his phone, head tilted back, relaxed. The kind of laugh that doesn't know it's being watched. The kind of laugh that used to belong to her. I don't go in. I don't make a scene. I just stand there long enough to feel the ache grow familiar, then keep walking. By the time we get home, the porch light is on. She's inside, pretending to read. I can see her through the window, her face lit by the glow of her tablet. She looks up when I open the door, and for a second, our eyes meet. There's no anger there anymore. Just distance, like two people waving from opposite sides of a river. I hang up the leash, sit down, and say, "We should talk." She nods, slow. "Yeah," she says. "We probably should." It's not a reconciliation. It's not even a beginning. It's just a pause in the unraveling. But it's something. And for the first time in a long time, that feels like enough to start with. Before we continue, hit the hype button, subscribe, and like the video to help the channel grow. Tell us which city you are from in the comments. We'd love to get to know our audience better. We ride the elevator at Old Mill Lofts. The door is a mirror. We look like a couple waiting on a nurse to call our name. I watch the floor numbers climb. Watching numbers is how IT people pray. Numbers don't lie, they only count. They move in order, predictable and calm, even when everything else feels like a system error. Each light clicks on in turn, 2, 3, 4. Her reflection beside me looks patient, but the set of her jaw tells a different story. The soft flicker of the elevator light paints her cheek in gold and shadow, and for a moment, I remember what it was like to think she was beautiful without having to remind myself. "You are impossible," she says, as the doors slide shut and we begin to move. "I am specific," I say. I look straight ahead, not at her. I can see both of us clearly in the mirrored steel. Me standing too straight, her leaning away just enough to make the air uneven. It's a small space, but there's enough distance between us to fit a lifetime. "It was a joke," she says. Her tone tries for casual, but there's a crack in it, the kind that doesn't heal with time. Her reflection adjusts her hair, smooths it behind her ear. She always fixes herself before she fixes the truth. "A joke is true and surprising," I say. "That was half of one." My voice is flat, clinical. It's the same tone I use when a server goes down and someone asks me what happened. Facts only. No emotion. Emotion is a luxury that gets in the way of diagnosis. The elevator dings. The sound is sharp and final. The doors slide open on the 5th floor, and the hallway breathes out a stale mix of dust, detergent, and last night's curry from someone's dinner. Glitter from somebody else's party sticks to the baseboard like the building shed its skin. There's an abandoned balloon in the corner, half deflated, the word "congratulations" still visible in tired silver. We step over it like it's evidence. Lena's hoodie smells like detergent we do not buy. It is sharp and fake lemon. A brand that comes from somewhere else, another house, another routine. I notice these things because noticing is what keeps me alive. Small details tell bigger truths. She pulls the sleeves down over her hands, like a kid caught sneaking out. Inside the apartment, I hook the leash on the wall. The dog heads to his water bowl like he is paid by the hour. His collar jingles once, and then goes quiet. The apartment smells faintly of her perfume, layered with the ghost of coffee grounds and leftover takeout. The lights are too bright. The air feels staged. Lena throws her shoes toward the closet and misses. She always does. I always fix it with my foot. I do not this time. The shoes stay there, one tilted awkwardly, pointing toward the door like it wants to leave too. She notices. She doesn't say anything. The silence stretches between us, elastic and dangerous. I open my mouth and stop. My throat feels like static. I hear my own voice before I decide to use it. "Are you seeing him?" I say. The words hang wrong. I hate vague questions. Vagueness is cowardice disguised as diplomacy. "Are you seeing anyone else?" I say, correcting myself. The question lands harder, cleaner. She turns slowly, eyes narrowed, mouth slightly open, like she didn't expect me to say it out loud. "That is not your business," she says. Her tone is light, almost bored, like she's discussing the weather, but her fingers tighten around the strap of her bag. That tells me everything. "It is exactly my business," I say, calm enough to hear the fridge rattle the ice tray. The click and hum of it is steady, like a metronome marking the tempo of this conversation. I take a step forward, not threatening, just enough to make space honest again. But I am not going to yell. I am making a choice. "What choice?" she says. Her voice sounds smaller now, but she's still trying to hold posture, still performing. I am done being harmless. The words settle into the air like smoke. She blinks, not sure whether to laugh or be afraid. For years, I made my life about being easy to live with. The quiet one, the fixer, the guy who swallowed his hurt like aspirin and smiled anyway. I built that habit one compromise at a time until I forgot how to take up space. But standing there, under the sterile light of our apartment, I feel the shift. The tired part of me, the one that apologizes first and bleeds later, has finally reached its limit. She crosses her arms. "That sounds like a threat," she says. "It's not," I say. "It's a statement of fact." Her eyes search my face, looking for the version of me she can control, the one who deflects with dry humor, who says it's fine when it isn't. That version doesn't answer. I walk past her and pick up the shoes from the floor, set them neatly against the wall. Not for her, for me, for order, for proof that I can still choose how things go, even in small ways. "Evan," she says softer, "you're overreacting." "Am I?" I say. "Because from where I'm standing it looks like I've been underreacting for about a year." She doesn't answer. Her mouth opens, closes. Her phone buzzes on the counter. She doesn't reach for it, and that silence says more than any denial could. Moby lifts his head from the floor, ears perked, sensing the change in temperature. Dogs know tension better than people do. He watches us like he's afraid we'll both vanish. "You can't just accuse me of—" she starts. "I didn't accuse," I interrupt. "I asked." My voice doesn't rise. I don't need it to. The calm is sharper than any shout could be. She laughs then, but it's brittle. "God, you love to play the victim." "Only because it's the one role you haven't auditioned for," I say. Her eyes flare. "You think you're so clever." I think I'm done pretending I don't see what's in front of me. The air thickens. Outside, through the balcony glass, the city hums. Distant sirens, a car horn, someone's laughter echoing from the street below. Normal sounds from a world where people still believe in small talk and easy mornings. It feels foreign from here. She walks to the sink, fills a glass of water, drinks half, and sets it down with too much force. The clink rings in the silence. "What do you want me to say?" she asks. "The truth," I say. She shakes her head slowly, eyes on the floor. "You wouldn't believe me." "I'd like the chance to try," I say, "but you've made it impossible." The refrigerator hum deepens, and the dog sighs like an old man. She finally looks at me, really looks, not through me. "You're not the man I married," she says. I nod. "Neither are you." Her lip trembles just once. Then she straightens. "So what now?" she asks. I shrug. "Now I stop fixing what you break." She stares for a long moment, like she's trying to recognize me. Then she walks to the bedroom without a word, the door closing softly behind her. Not a slam, just final. I stay in the living room. The TV remote sits on the table, the couch cushion still indented where she was sitting last night. I sit down, turn the TV on, mute it. The images flicker silently. Faces laughing, commercials for cars, fake families pretending to love each other under perfect lighting. It's too on the nose to be funny. Moby rests his chin on my knee. I scratch behind his ear absently. He looks up at me with eyes that forgive too easily. "It's okay," I whisper, but even the dog doesn't look convinced. The night drags long. I can hear her moving in the other room, drawers opening and closing softly, her footsteps pacing. I imagine her packing, not clothes, but courage. I know what's coming, and it doesn't scare me. It feels overdue, like an update waiting to install. When she finally emerges, she's wearing that same hoodie again. The lemon scent hits me first. She pauses at the door, bag over her shoulder. "You don't have to do this," she says. "I already did," I say. She nods once, eyes glassy but dry. "You'll regret it." I already did that too. The door clicks shut behind her. The hallway swallows the sound of her footsteps. I stand there, waiting for the silence to settle into something bearable. Moby walks to the door, sniffs it, then turns back to me. I sink onto the couch. The apartment feels larger without her, but not emptier, just honest. The clock ticks past midnight. I pick up her glass from the counter, rinse it, and place it upside down on the rack. The lemon smell lingers, faint and false. I let the water run until it's cold, then shut it off. My reflection in the dark window looks older than I remember. Not broken, just awake. I whisper the words again, the ones that changed everything. I am done being harmless. This time, I believe them. I do not sleep. Sleep asks you to turn your back to the room and trust the room. I am not there yet. I sit up, watch the tiny blue light of Lena's phone breathe on the dresser, and set rules in my head like posts in wet concrete. The air in the room is too clean, too still. The ceiling fan clicks once every 20 seconds, a tired heartbeat that does not belong to anyone. My side of the bed is cool. Hers smells like lemon detergent and distance. I used to think people drift apart quietly, like two leaves in separate currents. It turns out it is noisier than that. The sound of absence can fill a room. 1. No police. I am not outsourcing the job. Outsourcing means surrender. It means letting strangers walk through the ruins of your life, wearing boots and gloves and writing notes on clipboards. It means turning something private into evidence. I will not hand my story to someone who files it under domestic dispute and clocks out at 5. This is not a case. This is a system crash, and I am still the administrator. 2. No prison. That is lazy and boring. Also, I like living in my home. I will not trade one cage for another. I have seen men who let rage write their endings. Men who act like fire and call it justice. They always burn themselves first. My work is cleaner than that. I will not give her freedom by making myself smaller. 3. No bodies. I am not writing a horror story. I am writing an accounting ledger, debits and credits. When you strip away the noise, everything is arithmetic. What was taken, what remains. I am not looking to ruin her, just to balance the page. I want her to look at her own reflection and see math she cannot explain. I want her to feel the subtraction. 4. Truth only. Said out loud in daylight. Secrets rot in dark rooms. They breed mold on memory. I want the kind of truth that echoes, the kind you cannot shut down by leaving the house. I want her to have to live in it, to walk through it on her way to work, to hear it whispered when she orders coffee. I want daylight to do the work. 5. Hurt comfort, not bones. Hit the money, the image, the ease, leave the skin. There are ways to make life ache without breaking anything you can photograph. I know where our passwords are. I know her client list, her inbox filters, her calendar reminders. You can topple a person without touching them, People like her depend on the illusion of control. Pull one thread, and the shape falls apart. I get up at 4. The dog lifts his head, confirms I am not about to feed him, sleeps again with the kind of peace only animals and toddlers earn. His sigh fills the room like a gentle reproach. I envy him. He trusts the dark. I walk barefoot to the desk in the corner, the one I built from a kit during the pandemic when we thought staying home was temporary. The wood is scarred from coffee rings and late-night repairs. My laptop wakes with a soft chime, the glow painting the walls pale blue. The light makes everything look cleaner than it is. At my desk, I open our shared calendar and bank app. If you share a life loosely, your timeline turns into a sweater. Pull one thread, watch it go. I start with the obvious, the boarding receipt night. The timestamp matches the day she said she had a client dinner. The dog was with Mrs. Dupree across the hall. That detail never sat right. Mrs. Dupree charges a small fortune for overnight care, and Lena hates paying people to do things she can guilt me into. I scroll through the messages. Yes, there it is. Could you watch Moby Friday? I'll drop him at 6. Mrs. Dupree replied with a heart emoji. Harmless, efficient. But she doesn't take dogs on short notice. She books days in advance. Lena planned that drop-off before she told me about the dinner. The dinner took 3 hours at a taco place 12 minutes from our building with no line. I check the receipt. 2 margaritas, 2 entrees, no split check. The charge posts at 9:41, a rideshare at 9:52, pickup, East Side Market Lot, drop-off, the corner by the Mill Lofts entrance, except she claimed she started the ride from the restaurant. Small lies have fingerprints. If you know where to dust, they glow. Not proof by itself, but good weather for certain kinds of truth. I open a new tab. Instagram stories are a public weather radar for people with thumbs. I swipe through our circle. Maya, her coworker, posts a boomerang of margaritas. The glass clinks, the lime wedges flash, and the sound of laughter loops forever. In the mirror behind the bar, there is a shoulder with a round CityWorks patch. Not a crime. Just a patch on a shoulder, on a night that is supposed to be girls only. The arm next to it has a scar on the wrist. I saw that scar once when Bran reached for a wrench in the loading dock. The shape of recognition is a small explosion that leaves the air heavy. I go back through the posts. Maya tags Lena. Lena reposts it with a caption. My favorite people. Hearts and emojis rain in the comments. Bran's account doesn't appear, but I find his shadow anyway. A like from his company's profile. CityWorks follows exactly 37 accounts. She is one of them. The HOA Facebook group Mrs. Dupree runs is a whole newspaper stapled to a corkboard. I scroll through the timeline. Lost packages, water pressure complaints, endless photos of sunsets taken from identical balconies. There it is. A sunset photo from the exact Friday I care about. The caption reads, Perfect evening over Old Mill. The corner catches a CityWorks van down by our loading bay. The logo glows faintly in the reflection of the streetlight. The timestamp is 7:18, not illegal, not random either. I scroll back farther. A maintenance notice from the building management 3 weeks ago. CityWorks scheduled for exterior vent repairs on units 5A, 7C. Our unit is 5B. The note says the work was completed by Thursday. The van shouldn't have been there Friday, unless someone was visiting off the clock. I open my notes app and start a list. Dates, times, photos. It's not revenge yet, it's documentation. Documentation is safety. I save each image in a folder called Home Audit. Neutral names keep emotions from bleeding into the code. The sun starts to crawl over the horizon. The blinds glow soft gold. The city hums awake. I hear the pipes in the walls sigh as the upstairs neighbor starts a shower. Moby stirs again, yawns, and pads over to me. I scratch behind his ear and feel his steady heartbeat under the fur. You're lucky, I whisper. He licks my hand once, not understanding but forgiving anyway. I sip cold coffee from a cup left half-finished from last night. The taste is metallic. My mind clicks through possibilities. If I confront her now, she will deny it. She will build walls out of tone and timing. She will say it's all in my head. She is good at that. Years of PR training taught her to steer a story before it becomes a headline. But I can build quieter storms. I can write scripts that run in the background, invisible until they matter. I open our shared drive. Folders bloom like small countries. Personal, work, taxes, photos. The photos folder syncs automatically from her phone. She forgot that I set it up. I navigate through albums, vacations, holidays, her team's retreat in the mountains. I slow down at one named Q2 Social, a group shot at a rooftop bar. There's Bran again, off to the side, not tagged, pretending not to exist. His reflection appears in her sunglasses. She's laughing toward him, not the camera. I close the laptop for a moment. The blue light fades. I stare at my own reflection in the dark screen. My face looks unfamiliar, older by a decade. Maybe this is what honesty looks like when it first arrives, tired, unshaven, but certain. I think about my rules again, the posts setting in the concrete of my brain. I add a sixth one. 6. No ghosts, no half measures. When this is done, there will be no haunting, only clean air. I reopen the computer and start drafting an email. Subject line: household expenses. Review. Inside, I paste screenshots of the overlapping transactions: dog boarding, ride share, dinner. I keep the tone neutral. I sign it. Let's reconcile these this weekend. I don't send it. Not yet. It's bait. A measure of how nervous she still gets when truth brushes her inbox. At 6, I hear the bedroom door open. She walks out wearing her robe, hair tangled, eyes tired. She glances at me, then at the laptop. Couldn't sleep again? She asks. No, I say. You should try melatonin. I'm trying something else. She nods absently, pours herself water, and leans against the counter. Her phone buzzes. She checks it quickly, face tightening for half a second before she smooths it out. Work stuff, she says, though I didn't ask. She drinks the water and walks back toward the bedroom. The lemon scent follows her like an afterthought. I watch her go, memorizing the rhythm of her steps, the exact number of seconds before the door clicks shut. Every detail matters. Every system leaves a log. When the door closes, I turn back to the screen. The folder Home Audit sits open, waiting. I drag in a few more files, then I open a new document titled Map. It is not for directions. It is for understanding. I start plotting connections. Friday night, Mrs. Dupree's message, the van photo, the dinner receipt. Red lines across digital space, a constellation of small betrayals. Each point glows faintly on the screen, and when I zoom out, it looks almost beautiful. Like a network diagram of trust collapsing in real time. I have enough for a map. I do not have a destination yet. I do not need one to start walking. The process itself is motion. The pattern reveals itself, one log entry at a time. Outside, the sun climbs higher, and the room fills with color again. The blue light from her phone finally dies, battery drained overnight. The small breathing glow that kept me awake is gone. I take that as a sign. The day begins quietly, but it is no longer the same day. I mark it anyway. Every system needs a timestamp. I text my stepbrother Damon at 5:50 a.m. That early you either work in kitchens or gyms. Damon runs the Grayford Boxing Co-op, a half-legal, half-legendary space under the bridge where men in hoodies and women with taped wrists trade silence for impact. The kind of place that never officially closes because no one has ever officially opened it. The walls sweat history. The floor remembers every fall. I haven't been there in 5 years. The last time I had a black eye and a story about slipping on ice. Damon didn't believe the story but respected the effort. He sends a key emoji and the number 6. That's his shorthand. Door code, sparring ring, time slot. I know the rules. I drive there before the city wakes, streets empty except for delivery vans and joggers trying to outrun whatever waits for them at home. My car hums low, headlights carving thin tunnels through fog. The sky has that pre-dawn bruise color, blue fading into steel. At the co-op, the air smells like rope, Lysol, and old ambition. There's a rhythm to places like this, leather hitting canvas, jump ropes whispering against concrete, the occasional grunt that breaks the pattern. Damon stands near the ring, wrapping his own hands, his face half shadowed by the fluorescent light. He looks like he hasn't slept, but maybe he just never stops moving long enough to need to. His arms are carved from years of routine, not vanity. He sees me walk in and doesn't smile, which is his version of saying, "I'm glad you came." He watches me wrap my hands like I am putting on a suit I outgrew. He does not joke. He knows what my face means. Damon's always been able to read a person like a gym mirror. What you think you're hiding, it reflects back. He waits until I finish the wrap, tugging it snug around my knuckles. "You're not here to hit somebody," he says. "You're here to stop thinking about hitting somebody." I nod. Something like that. He grunts. "Footwork first," he says. "You do not need to hit better. You need to stand better." That's Damon's philosophy. Violence isn't in the hands, it's in the stance. You don't throw a punch until your feet understand where you are. We move. Angles, breath, the small discipline of not reacting when everything in you wants to flinch. The mat smells like old sweat and chalk. Every time my heels lift too high, Damon taps the side of my leg with a mitt. Small corrections, nothing personal, all precision. "You're too tight," he says. "Loosen your shoulders. You can't think straight if you're locked up." I know he means more than boxing. I move until my lungs start to scratch. I feel the rhythm of it start to work. The sound of shoes on the mat, the whisper of air between jabs, the steady beat of the jump rope smacking the floor in another corner. I am not trying to become the kind of man who wins fights. I am trying to become the kind who does not lose them by accident. Control is the opposite of fear. Damon taught me that when I was 14 and thought bravery meant not crying after getting hit. "You don't win by being angry," he said back then. "You win by being awake." He still says it now. Between rounds, he tosses me a towel. "You're not awake yet," he says. "You're dreaming of control. That's not the same thing." I wipe sweat from my face. "I'll get there." He nods once, satisfied enough. "Good. Because whatever's got you in here before sunrise, it's not about her, is it?" I don't answer. He smirks, the closest he gets to kind. "Didn't think so," he says. "It never really is." When I leave, the sun is dragging itself over the rooftops, tired and reluctant. My muscles hum with exhaustion, but it's a good noise. Something alive, something earned. I drive home, shower, work. The day passes like a blurred photograph. I keep my head down at the office, moving through spreadsheets and error logs, pretending the ache in my shoulders is just exercise and not preparation. At night, I run the bend by the river. It's a narrow loop of path and bridge where the city curls back on itself. The water below moves like a slow idea, dark and cold, carrying the reflections of the streetlights in broken lines. Wind comes off the river with a bite that feels clean. The footbridge glows like a cheap stage set, metal railings trembling under the weight of passing cars. It's my route because it's empty, and emptiness feels honest. Halfway across the bridge, I see movement ahead, someone jogging toward me, pace steady, earbuds in. Then I recognize the stride. Bran. He looks like a man who sells confidence bottled as cologne. Haircut too neat, smile rehearsed for mirrors, the kind of body that never worked a day but still wants to be admired. Even from a distance, I can tell he saw me too. His face tightens, then smooths out like he's scrolling through emotions to find the right one to display. He slows down as he approaches. He does not say hi. He wants me to speak first, to give him the opening he can twist into civility. I don't. I stop in the middle of the bridge, hands on my hips, pretending to catch my breath. "How is the dog?" I say finally. My voice sounds calm. My heart doesn't agree. "You tell me," he says. "Dogs like everyone." "Not everyone," I say. I don't blink. The wind shifts, rattling the loose metal on the railing. The air smells like rain that hasn't decided yet. He steps in front of me on the bridge and spreads his arms like he is measuring a doorway with his shoulders. It's not a big gesture, but it's the kind that says he's done this before, blocking space, testing reactions. His stance is all posture, no plan. I can see the uncertainty under the smirk. "You are in my way," I say. "Then go around," he says. His voice is casual, but his eyes are sharp, waiting for a reason to escalate. He wants me to swing first. He thinks I might. Angles beat speed. Damon's voice in my head. "Don't fight where you stand. Fight where you move." I step left, faint like I'm giving him space, then cut right. He's slower than he thinks. My shoulder brushes his chest, and he tilts just enough that his phone slips from his hand, dips toward the river, a small black rectangle of proof he can't afford to lose. He catches it with both hands, eyes wide, knees bending reflexively. The sound he makes is the first honest thing I have heard him do. "Careful," I say. "You would hate to lose your camera. Seems like you need it for your after-hours hobbies." His mouth opens, then closes. He stares at me, breathing hard, calculating the meaning. He knows I know. The reflection of the bridge light flickers across his face. The mask almost slips. Then he chooses to pretend he does not understand. "Stay away from her," he says. His voice tries to sound firm, but the tremor gives him away. He's repeating something she told him to say, a script written in fear disguised as loyalty. "That is good advice," I say, and I keep running. Behind me I can feel his eyes on my back, the weight of confusion and anger mixing into something unformed. The sound of his sneakers fades quickly. The river drowns the rest. I run until the air cuts my lungs and the city lights turn into smudges. Every step pushes the night farther away, but it still clings to me like static. By the time I loop back to the start of the path, the bridge looks different. Empty again. Calm. The world resets itself for people who know how to disappear. I slow to a walk, hands on my knees, chest heaving. My reflection in the dark water below is broken into pieces by ripples. The wind lifts my hair and carries the cold through the weave of my sweatshirt. When I finally head home, the streets are quiet except for the occasional siren echoing from the east side. I move through pools of streetlight, my shadow stretching and shrinking like a heartbeat. In the distance, the city hums with late-shift noise, trains, generators, laughter spilling out of bars. It all sounds foreign, like another country's music. Back at the apartment, I unlock the door quietly. Moby lifts his head from the couch, tail thumping once in recognition. I kneel down, run a hand over his fur. His warmth is grounding. "Good boy," I whisper. He yawns, then rests his chin on my knee. For a moment, everything is simple again. Breath, heartbeat, silence. Lena's bedroom door is closed. A thin line of light leaks from underneath. I hear the soft buzz of her phone, a muffled laugh, hers or maybe someone else's on the other end of the call. I stand there longer than I should, then turn away. I pour a glass of water, drink it slow, let the cold spread through me. It steadies my hands. In the mirror above the sink, my reflection looks different than it did a week ago. Less patient, more awake. Damon was right. I wasn't awake before, but I am now. The next step isn't rage, it's arithmetic. Every move measured, every debt recorded. The city outside flickers through the blinds, the rhythm of streetlights and passing cars painting stripes of motion across the walls. I close my eyes, listening to the world breathe around me. The rules still hold. No police, no prison, no bodies. But there's a new one now. one that writes itself quietly beneath the others. 6. Never warn someone twice. CityWorks has a public portal. Most cities do. Good intentions, bad settings. The kind of system that starts as transparency and ends as exposure. Someone in an office somewhere decided residents should have access to maintenance logs, safety updates, all the little pieces that make a city run. No one thought about how far access goes when you forget to build a lock. I know these systems. I help fix them for a living. I know what a soft door looks like. The interface is exactly what I expect. Gray, clunky, designed by committee. A banner across the top reads, CityWorks Public Engagement Portal. The word engagement is corporate camouflage. It means they want you to feel involved without actually touching anything that matters. I scroll through tabs, service requests, infrastructure reports, community feedback. Then one catches my eye. Facilities visitors. It should not be public. It is. I click. It is not hacking to click. Clicking is what the button is made for. It's the digital equivalent of walking through an unlocked door. The data loads slowly, lines of text populating like a confession typed in real time. I see dates, times, door locations, badge numbers, entry logs from contractors, janitors, inspectors, each one stamped with the small precision of bureaucracy. There it is, Friday. Old Mill Loft's service entrance. The timestamp sits right in the middle of the gap between her dinner receipt and the rideshare start. Badge ID ending in 77D4. I scroll back, cross-check, and find the same badge registered to Cade Brandon. My breath doesn't change, but my pulse does. The name glows faintly on the screen, indifferent to me, just another piece of public information sitting out in daylight, waiting to be found. I stare at the screen longer than I should. It feels like standing at the edge of something high. Evidence is never loud, it whispers. The logs don't tell a story, they leave footprints. The trick is to see which direction they're walking. The entry log lists duration too. 43 minutes, long enough to mean something, not long enough to be a job. I imagine the van idling under the streetlight, the key card beep, the quiet echo of the door closing behind him. The fluorescent hallway that leads to our service stairwell, the kind of space where sound has nowhere to go. I take a screenshot, another, different angles, overlapping corners of the data in case someone edits the page later. Screenshots are modern fossils. They prove what existed before someone tried to bury it. I open my local drive and create a new folder named Taxes. No one ever checks that. The word itself repels curiosity. It sounds dull and necessary, the perfect camouflage. I slide the screenshots inside and close the folder. I do not need it for court. I need it for gravity. Without proof, memory floats. It becomes fiction told to yourself in a locked room. With proof, even digital, even small, the story gains weight. It sinks into the floor, makes a sound when it lands. I don't need to win an argument. I just need to stop doubting the shape of the truth. The cursor blinks in the search bar, waiting for the next command. My hands hover above the keyboard, steady now. I could keep digging. I could trace every entry from that badge, map his path through the city like a GPS line through guilt. But there's a difference between information and obsession, and I've spent too long confusing the two. For now, I've got enough. I open a new tab. The city's fire department website loads, all red banners and official emblems. There's a link at the bottom. Fire Marshal Contact, Community Safety Tip Line. I click it. The page opens a small form box, polite and unassuming. Name, email, message. I sit back, thinking. The question forms in my head like a wire being tightened. I don't want to accuse. Accusations make noise. Noise alerts people. I want to plant something quiet, something that grows roots before anyone notices it's there. I start typing. Good morning. I live near Old Mill Lofts. I noticed maintenance vehicles accessing the building after hours, using what appeared to be a master key or universal badge. I was curious if that is standard practice or if contractors are supposed to log access differently. Just wondering for safety reasons. Thank you for your time. I read it twice. It's clean, neutral. The kind of message that could come from any cautious neighbor who cares too much about policy. I sign it with my real name. Ghosts are cowards. I am not one. I hover over submit. For a moment, I picture the email dropping into an inbox somewhere, landing softly among noise and bureaucracy. Maybe a clerk reads it over coffee. Maybe no one does. Maybe it sits there until someone audits the queue and flags it. Maybe it triggers a quiet internal check, an inquiry that asks the wrong person the right question. It doesn't matter which outcome hits first. What matters is that the story leaves my computer and enters the city. A ripple, small but moving outward. Systems don't need to be fast. They just need to be consistent. I click submit. The confirmation page loads. Thank you for helping keep our city safe. The words feel both true and false. Safe for whom? Safe from what? I close the laptop and lean back in my chair. The room around me feels different now. Same walls, same air, but less weight on my chest. The proof sits buried in a folder under an ordinary name. The tip sits in a database under civic duty. 2 small moves. But small moves start avalanches if you place them right. The window beside the desk shows a slice of morning light creeping through clouds. The city's waking up. Garbage trucks groan down the street, collecting what people want to forget. A bus sighs at the corner. Somewhere above, a siren winds up, steady and tired. Every sound belongs to the same rhythm. Machines doing their work without passion, just persistence. I think of Brand's badge, still sitting on his chest somewhere, maybe swinging as he leans against a counter, maybe hanging on a hook next to his jacket. The small rectangle of authority that gave him access to our home. Every door leaves a record, even the ones he thought closed quietly. I walk to the kitchen, pour coffee, watch the slow swirl of cream in the cup. The smell steadies me. I scroll my phone absently. The CityWorks portal is still open in another window. I imagine the database breathing on its own, a sleeping animal full of secrets. People trust systems too easily. They think because it's online, it's official. They forget that official things can rot just like private ones. I take another sip, burn my tongue, don't flinch. The dog pads into the kitchen, nails clicking on tile. He sits, watches me. His gaze is uncomplicated. I envy it. I reach down, scratch behind his ear. You hungry? I ask. He yawns. It's too early still. I set the mug down and glance at the clock. 6:47 a.m. I have 3 meetings today. I'll show up, smile, type, troubleshoot servers that panic over nothing. I'll nod at people who thank me without meaning it. I'll pretend everything in my life runs smoothly, like code that never breaks. But under the surface, something's moving, slowly, cleanly. The tip I sent will ripple through the chain of command. The screenshot will wait quietly, sleeping in the taxes folder until needed. The world doesn't know it yet, but it's adjusting its balance sheet. I remember what I told myself before. This is not revenge, it's accounting. There's a difference. Revenge is about satisfaction. Accounting is about accuracy. Revenge ends when you feel better. Accounting ends when the numbers make sense. I sit again at the desk, staring at the closed laptop. The fan hums inside it, still warm from use. I imagine the circuits carrying traces of what I just did, electrons rearranging themselves into a record that cannot truly disappear. Even if I delete everything, the ghosts of those clicks remain somewhere, stored, cached, remembered by machines that never sleep. Machines don't forget. People do. Outside, the morning light grows stronger. The reflection of the laptop screen catches my face, pale against the glow. I look at myself, not with pride or regret, but recognition. The man in the glass looks like someone mid-process, someone halfway through becoming something else. I finish the coffee, rinse the cup, and let the water run longer than needed. The dog stretches, shakes his collar, and waits for a command. Walk later, I say. He accepts it. Dogs always accept what's said plainly. Before leaving the room, I open the laptop once more and check the folder labeled taxes. The screenshots are there, still crisp, still waiting. I rename one of them quietly, changing Screenshot 2049 to Ledger Entry 1. Then I close the lid. The day outside hums with possibility. I step into it knowing the story has already begun to spread. Unseen, unhurried, inevitable. Holler and hound trivia night. I drink water. I want to be able to count every word. Maya sits 2 stools down. She has a laugh tuned for microphones. She sees me and smiles like she likes having an audience. How is Lena? I say. Busy, she says. Why? Wondering if she is okay, I say. Because of the video, she says. Which video? I say. Her eyes spark. She loves being the person who knows about a thing. The party clip, she says. The meme page posted it. Whoever sent it in had great timing. Theo, the bartender, films everything. He sent me a copy unsolicited before he posted. I sent it on to a local meme page with no caption. All truth needs is a little air. Maya's phone lights. Lock screen previews pop up. Dog Dad. Got you. Dog Dad. Safe. Dog Dad. Same time next Friday. Dog Dad, I say. She grins. Just a joke. We run on those around here, I say. 2 days later, a short video of Bran yelling about audits breaks into the local feed. He is inside a corrugated metal building, safety posters stacked behind him. He is red and loud. He calls the review a witch hunt, which is the word men pick when they cannot find a better one. A coworker tries to calm him down. He swats the air like flies are loaded with questions. I did not shoot it. A guy named Ollie did and posted it. I emailed nothing. I texted no one. Gravity was busy. Fire Marshal Crosby freezes the Master Access program. Temporary review. That phrase means we are going to shake this tree and see who falls out. Damon watches me hit the heavy bag that night. He nods like a man listening to a song he has heard before. You are letting the world do the work, he says. Feels lighter that way, I say. I cancel the subscriptions I pay for. The platforms send me breakup emails written by interns. I take back our garage spot because my name is the one on the deed for it. Paperwork is part of violence if you use it right. Lena parks on the street now. Grayford Street parking is a coin toss in a thunderstorm. The garage entrance has a black light, so plates show up on video like they are in a police lineup. That night I see her hatch glow with a phrase only visible under that light. Dogs don't lie. Washable chalk paint, harmless, ugly, designed to go viral inside a building that lives on HOA rumor. I did not do it. I do not need to. She storms upstairs, hot and wet with rainwater and anger. You did this, she says. No, I say. That is not how I do truth. You are enjoying it. I like symmetry, I say. That is different. Trivia night again. The bar is loud with people who need to feel smart for a prize that does not matter. Bran arrives in a shirt that looks pressed with a vice. He plants next to me, puts a hand on my shoulder, squeezes like a coach about to deliver advice he never took. Stand up, he says. Why? I say. So I can tell you something, he says. You can tell me while I sit, I say. He shoves. It is not violence. It is suggestion. I have had enough suggestions for one lifetime. I stand. I take one step to the outside of his stance, post my foot, and use my palm on his sternum to sit him back down on the stool like a parent correcting a toddler. Say it, I say. He swings an elbow. I slip it and let my forearm ride his shoulder. Then I give him one open hand slap. Clean. Loud. Phones everywhere. You could feel the room go tall and thin. You hit me, he says. You shoved me, I say. Sit still. He looks around and sees he is not alone, and the cameras are real. That does the math for him. I let my weight off. He stands too fast. He wants the moment back. He cannot have it. Moments do not do returns. Mrs. Dupree calls me at 9 the next morning. She is the HOA queen. She likes order because it keeps the world from reminding her that chaos owns the land. "Evan," she says, "do you know a man who wears a CityWorks jacket and visits your floor late at night?" "Describe him," I say. "Tall, thick, walks like the hallway owes him rent." "I have a guess," I say. "I have doorbell clips. I posted one in the HOA group. People are upset. Should I send you the public link?" "Yes," I say. "You are doing great." "Safety is a team sport, dear," she says, pleased with herself. Clips do not convict. They confirm. They let people say out loud what they already believed. I send the link to my taxes folder. Truth lives there in my life. It is funny and not. When I get home, a Polaroid is on the floor inside my door. Someone slipped it. It shows my sedan parked near old mill lofts on the girls' night. I did not drive it. The angle is from across the street, grainy like the truth got printed on sand. I hold it in the kitchen light. I taste copper. That is what paranoia tastes like to me, like you bit your lip hard and pretend you did not. I check my phone's location history. It says home. Phones are bad liars. People are worse. I set the photo by the dog bowl. He sniffs it and sneezes. Not a verdict, a review. Tuesday is government day. Crosby and 2 inspectors show up at the CityWorks depot. Surprise audit. That phrase feels friendly. It is not. I stand on a public sidewalk. I do not walk onto the property. I do not talk to Crosby. I talk to the air like a man thinking out loud. Someone has been using after-hours access near residential buildings, I say, to no one in particular. That cannot be normal. Bran comes out of the depot, red and urgent. He fires up his restored '98 Sentinel. He peels off so hard a cyclist jumps a curb. Kids who film everything catch it from 3 angles. Ollie posts one. A girl named Bree posts another. In one, Bran yells at the sky. In another, his car fishtails before it straightens. Gravity does its job again. I ask Maya to meet at a coffee shop with windows that make rain look like television. She orders something that sounds like a password. We sit where the light is honest. "Can I record this?" I say, "so I do not mess up details." She smiles like she is on a panel. "Of course," she says. I press record. I set the phone between us, screen lit, red dot on. She tells me about girls' night. Then she tells me the part I needed and expected, but did not want to hear. Lena borrowed my car for takeout. Maya took the keys and drove it to Old Mill Lofts, so if anyone asked later, the story would smile in the right direction. She calls it cover. I call it staging. She says she likes Bran. "Not like that," she says. Then she laughs and shrugs. She likes leverage more than she likes people. "You are admitting you moved my car," I say. "On the record." "On the record," she says. "You said you were recording. You are not going to twist this, right?" "I am not twisting anything," I say. "I am straightening it." I end the recording. She looks pleased with herself, like she just won a point in a game no one else knew they were playing. I write a timeline that anyone's lawyer could love. Dates, times, public posts, HOA threads, the meltdown video, the access freeze notice, the consented transcript of my talk with Maya typed clean. No adjectives. Adjectives are a crutch for liars. I send it to Lena's boss from a new email with no ties to my name. I add links and screenshots and nothing else. People fill in blanks with the worst version of what you did. I leave good blanks. Lena is placed on leave. Maya is suspended. A client drops. Another pauses. The agency language says this is temporary while we clear things up. Temporary can be a lifetime when you work in marketing and the town is small and phones remember. At home, Lena says a lot of words that sound like they are trying to build a pier in a storm. I listen until the lumber floats away. "What do you want?" she says. "Quiet," I say. That is not a victory. It is a start. Revenge does not need gasoline. It needs timing and weather. North Spur is a half-built luxury condo with scaffolds like a rib cage. A roofing crew left a tar tank against a wall under plastic with twine holding it like a kid tied it up. A storm is coming from the west. I walk by and take a photo from the public sidewalk. I do not touch a thing. You do not have to move the world if the world is already tilting. Bran parks his Sentinel under the walkway because he thinks no one will mess with it there. He loves that car more than he loves the idea of rules. It shines even in bad light. It is the kind of paint that remembers fingers. I text him from an app that gives you a number for a night. Meet me at North Spur at 9. Last chance to apologize like a man. I text Lena from my phone. Bring the truth or watch it fall. Damon says he will stand by the stairs to keep civilians out. That is all. Nothing more. He is a stop sign in human form. I go home and wrap my hands and wait without moving. 9 o'clock. Rain finds edges on plastic and turns them into whips. The scaffolds sing. The sidewalk below smells like wet gypsum and new promises. Bran shows, coat dark with rain, face bright with anger. Lena comes 5 minutes late with the dog because she learned years ago that dogs get sympathy for free. The river rats drift to the curb with their phones up. Theo must have posted something cryptic again. He is a lighthouse for mess. We climb the service stairs. Metal. Wet. My shoes tell me more than my eyes. I place my feet like the floor is a negotiation. Last chance, I say to Bran, apologize and walk away. For what? He says. For using keys that were not meant for this. For walking through my life like it is a hallway to yours. He throws. I slip. I post him into the mesh with my forearms, weight settled. I give him one open hand slap. It cracks because the stairwell makes every sound tall. Phones hear it, Rain hears it, Lena hears it. The dog's ears do not move. He is unimpressed by human theater. Stay down, I say. Not loud, direct. Damon blocks the stairwell below. He does not touch anyone. He does not need to. I hold up the transcript of Maya's confession. I read the lines where she admits moving my car to stage the night. I keep my voice flat. I keep my eyes on Lena. I want her to feel the ground shift exactly where it was supposed to be solid. You wanted real, I say. Here is real. No cops, no jail. Just truth and consequences in a town that gossips for sport. Wind hits the plastic like a hand clapping. Down below, the tar tank cover flaps, then rips. A black sheet slides, thick and slow and ugly, straight onto the hood and windshield of the Sentinel. The sound is a slap you can feel through your shoes. Bran screams. He fights under me, not smart, just loud. I do not need to hold him long. Rage uses fuel fast. He goes still enough to understand. The world tilts by itself, I say. You chose where to stand. Lena stares at the transcript like it might change if she looks hard enough. It does not. I drop Lena's wedding band into her palm. I found it on the bathroom shelf next to the dry shampoo and the lies we told ourselves. Keep it, I say. Sell it. Skip it across the river. I do not care. You can keep the dog's kisses. He is loyal to food. I am loyal to facts. Please, she says. I do not know what the please is for. There are too many doors that word could open. Say the truth, I say. Say you cheated. Say you liked it. Say you thought you could walk straight through my life and nothing would move. She does not. The dog whines and looks up at me like he is waiting for the next command. I turn to Bran. His eyes are on his car and on me, and on a version of himself he does not like. He calls me things that will not age well. He tells me I will regret this. Maybe I will. Not tonight. Villains know when to stop, I say. Heroes do not. That is why I win. I step away. Damon falls in behind me. The river rats film the Sentinel crying tar and the crowd laughing in that harsh way crowds laugh When they are relieved, it is not them. It is not permanent damage. It is expensive humiliation that will live online and in parking lot jokes for years. I do not smile. I do not need to. Mrs. Dupree waits in the lobby with her phone like a judge with a stopwatch. "Is it over?" she says. "It is enough," I say. "Good," she says. "Noise after 10 is unacceptable." The dog pads beside me up the hall. He knows the rhythm of my feet and likes it better than Lena's lately. Dogs pick sides with their noses. In the apartment I feed him. He eats with purpose. That is what I like about him. He does not moralize. He decides. I do not pour a drink. I write a list, dates, actions, witnesses, not to brag, to aim, to make sure I am not telling myself a movie, to keep the rules front and center. No police, no prison, no bodies. Truth out loud, hurt comfort, not bones. I read it twice. I sleep this time because I can face the room and trust the room to sit there and behave. Morning brings calls like hail against a tin roof. Unknown numbers, the agency, a client, a city admin leaving a careful voicemail as if he is walking a tightrope over a vat of hot takes. I answer none. I am not the press secretary for this. I already said what I needed out loud on wet metal in the rain. I go to the co-op. Damon hands me wraps with no speech. We work the bag. I think about how right and happy are different words for a reason. I will take right. Dusk. The river is a mirror, a little boy smudged with his thumb. People jog and do not think. People walk and pretend they do. Theo passes and gives me a chin nod. No words. He knows better. Silence is valuable this week. The air smells like tar and rain and somebody else's plans. Somewhere a guy argues with a parking meter because he wants his quarter back. Somewhere a couple takes a photo that makes them look braver than they will be tomorrow. I count 3 breaths, one for each rule that matters most. No police, no prison, no bodies. When I get home, I set the Polaroid in a drawer and leave it there. It is part of the record. It is not the story. The story is me choosing to stop being harmless and being correct instead.